So you're new to photography and spend hours upon hours learning pretty much everything there is to learn about. One thing leads to another and you find yourself at your first paid photo shoot. Oh my god, right? And speaking out of experience, this can be really stressful. And honestly, that is just the way it is with everything, but there are some things that you can avoid going into your first paid photo shoot. So, we'll break this video down in 3 different parts. Before the photo shoot, during the photo shoot, and after the photo shoot, so you can kind of like orientate yourself when to do these things. If that makes sense. I'm not sure if that even makes sense. Anyways, let's jump right into number 1. Always pack everything. This might be a no-brainer for some people, but I'm not gonna lie, I've made this mistake in the past. You know, photography is art, and it's supposed to be creative. And in order to actually maximize your creativity, you need to have all the facilities that you need in order to do so. Long story short, bring all your equipment because you might need it. I'm speaking lenses, tripod, lights, everything. Even if that means you have to carry a whole freaking suitcase. And I'll give you a VIP tip, and that might actually be more useful than the other tip that I just gave you. And that is to bring your laptop, if you have one. And if you have a MacBook, yes, also bring the freaking 27 adapters you need for it in order to plug in a SD card. It just comes with like 2 USB-C ports on every side, like, what is this? Thanks, Apple. Anywho, the reason for it is actually quite simple. Here's an example. The client you're shooting for wants to use the photos for his website. Now, in order to not make any mistakes in terms of crop ratio and like resolution and all that, so it would be an advantage to be able to import all the photos you took onto your laptop and then just putting it on the laptop of your client to see if it works out with the website or not. Technically, as a photographer, this shouldn't be of your concern because the client should have given you a list of the stuff he wants before anyways, but we'll get into that later. It might just be the best thing to just throw your laptop in there too, so you can literally do everything you want when you're at the photo shoot. Number 3. This might seem like it comes from your mom, but it's still actually a really useful tip. Pack your bag early. Pack your bag the day before you go to the photo shoot, not 20 minutes before you leave, because I'm telling you, these SD cards are smaller and more forgettable than you think. This will save you a huge amount of stress and will probably also lead to that you have everything you need and not like forget your battery or SD card at home, because if that happens, you might as well just go home, because that's just like the most disappointing thing that can happen to you as a photographer. You rock up to your location, you have your camera, your tripod, your microphone, even, I don't know, your laptop, and then you forget the freaking SD card. So pack the stuff you need the day before, so all you need to do on the day of the shoot is get up, grab your bag, and head out the door. Now this is going to be one of the more important tips of this video, so make sure to take notes or whatever, just keep it in there. And that is to speak with your client prior to the shoot about the expectations and the stuff that he wants you to do at the shoot, so you know that you don't leave out anything and he can't complain that you didn't shoot this particular photo. Now this not only makes sure that the other person gets what he wants and you do a good job as a photographer, it also keeps you out of trouble, because if you don't shoot something like a particular photo that was not on the list, he could technically say, no, I'm not going to give you the right amount of money that you asked for because you didn't do your job correctly. This especially goes for like wedding photography and like events where there are some things that just happen and you kind of need to capture it. For example, like wedding stuff that you can't really, retake. So just make sure, ask the client for what he expects and you're good. So it is the day of the shoot and you arrive at your destination. Something I always like to do is find a spot where I can safely put my gear and take it out of the bag to see what do I have. And then, when I'm in a hurry, then I can just go there and grab something real quick, change it, and don't have to like take everything out the bag looking for that specific type of gear. A table is enough, like just something where you can put your stuff and it's not going to be stolen from you. Maybe you can get like an extra room where you have the key to it. But just ask where you can put your stuff safely, because I don't want to give you this tip and then you go there and just put it out on the street and then some dude comes and kicks it or just takes it. So the next one is super important for the overall result of the photo shoot. Take more photos. You think you have enough? No, you don't. Take more photos in all aspect ratios and angles that you can possibly find, because it's always good to provide your client with a variety of photos, especially when it's the situation we talked about before where he wants to build a website and then he needs like a horizontal photo of that version of that photo. Anyways, and you just have the vertical, and then you can say, no, I'm sorry, you can't use that. So that's just always disappointing to tell the client. So I feel like just take more photos. Like, literally like format your SD card before going to the shoot and just fill it up to the very last gigabyte. It's alright. That's literally what SD cards are for. And it's also important to show your photos to the client at the shoot if possible. Like for example, if you're out shooting for like a clothing brand and you have the ability to show the client that the photos you take, because then you know the client has his own vision, but he just can't like take the photo as you can because he doesn't have the ability or the gear to. So this is why he hires you as a photographer. He still has the photo that he wants in mind. So maybe just like ask him what he expects and how he wants it to be, and then take a photo and then show him. And then don't be afraid to ask what can be done differently. Don't ask like, is that all right? Is that good? Is that whatever? He's always gonna say, yeah, it's good, even if it's not. But maybe tell him like what, like just be open with him, be friendly, and say like, hey, this is the photo I took. What would you like to change? Is there something you would like to change? And what, you know, just make him feel comfortable about, you know, telling you that your photos, they don't have to suck. You know what I mean? They just have to be different than he like had it in his head. So don't be afraid to ask like what can be done differently. What would you think I should do? You know what I mean? Like he still has his vision. He might not be the photographer, but he still has the image in his head, as I said. So let's say you had an exhausting day creating the content, taking the photo, whatever you had to do for your client, and you get home and you just fall into bed because you're so tired. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but half the work is actually still ahead of you. Taking the photos is one thing, but actually making them look good and clean and everything, it can be a pain in the butt. To not get overwhelmed trying to edit literally 10,000s of photos, there are some things you can do that make your life easier. First, set yourself a deadline that kind of stresses you out. I'm not saying like completely stressful, but more like keeps you busy, because if the client says, take your time with editing these images, it's a habit for photographers to like saying, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it just like a little bit today and I'll do a little bit tomorrow because there's no stress anyways. But this is a really bad thing to do because you're just procrastinating and just, you know, so just don't do that. If you come home from the shoot and you're tired, it's okay, but still get something done. Organize the stuff. Like we'll get to that in a minute what you can do, but still, like just set yourself a deadline that keeps you busy. And in order to do so, again, there are a couple things you can do. First of all, create a clean environment. It doesn't matter where you edit your photos. If it's on the couch watching The Office, like I sometimes do, on the desk or whatever you do it, just create a clean environment that actually, you know, that you feel comfortable editing in, editing in, where you actually feel comfortable and not distracted all that much. And honestly, your goal is finishing the whole edit in one session. I'm sorry, this sounds rough, especially when it's like a 10-hour editing process, but like a 2-hour photo shoot probably takes like 6 hours to edit. And that's just the way it is. And final tip is going to be not to undersell yourself. Even if you start out, just know your worth, know what you can do, know your abilities, and always think that the client is hiring a photographer because he cannot do the job like you can. Can you fly somewhere else? Just be confident in what you do and have a good time. These two things are pretty much the most important things when you head into the photo shoot. Yeah, just be yourself, be you, and just crush this thing. Ladies and gents, this is all I have to say for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like the video to not miss out on any further content that I put out. And also support my channel a little bit. Support my channel a little bit. I would totally appreciate that. Make sure to message me on Instagram if you have any questions about that. Just leave it in the comments. I'll see that anyways. It's not like I have 200 people commenting on my videos, but not yet. This is the right mindset. We don't have it yet, but we'll get there. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.